here for the 20th Annual Crown Royal presents the Samuel Deeds 400 at the Brickyard, powered by BigMachineRecords.com at Indianapolis Motor Speedway is Jeff Gordon. He's a four-time winner here. And Jeff, before we talk a little bit about racing, I know it's near and dear to your heart, the bowling event that you put on yesterday here in the Indianapolis area. It's been an annual event that you've done. Maybe talk about that and how that went, and then maybe segue into racing here at Indy. But talk about your bowling event yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah, no, a very successful event. I know we raised over $300,000. Riley Hospital for Children here locally is one of the top children's hospitals in the country, and we're proud to have partnered with them many years ago, and been funding a research lab there for the last couple of years, and so we're really proud. I think back 12 years we've been doing this bowling tournament, and it's hard to believe that you can turn an event into what this has turned into. We had a lot of fun and raised a lot of money and awareness, and it was fantastic. So thank you for bringing it up.
You bet. And Jeff Gordon, not only is he one of the premier athletes in the world, he's one of the premier ambassadors and humanitarians in the world. Jeff, I'm just saying that because you're here, but you really are, and I appreciate all you do. And thanks for being here at Indy. And let's talk about, we're coming to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You've won here 4 times. You're in a new race car. Maybe talk about how you think this new Gen 6 car will do here at Indy.
Well, we had the opportunity to tire test here with Goodyear and get a chance to feel what this car is like. And it feels good. It's obviously going to be really fast. I thought we had a good test. We've certainly gathered some good information and data to come back with. We are back with the same tire that we've had the last couple of years. This surface is tough. It's abrasive, and it's really hard to find any different tire than what we've had here for our cars. So, durability is the key and most important thing, and we certainly have that. So excited about that. Excited about, I think, what we've learned since that tire test. The last couple of years have been really good for us here. And we've been in contention to win races here. So, I'm always excited to get to Indianapolis, and certainly this weekend I think our team is ready to step it up and get us another win here, as well as, we understand how important these next 7 races are for us to get ourselves in the chase.
Okay, we'll take questions now. We have 2 wireless mics. We have Susie over here to my left and then Taylor to our right. So if you have a question, raise your hand. State your name, affiliation. We'll start right here with Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Jeff, in terms of prestige and coveted trophies, where would Indianapolis rank for you and the general driving corps?
I think, you've got the Daytona 500, and then you have the Brickyard 400, in my opinion. Some people might rank it different than that, but that's the way I look at it. And there was a time, probably back in 1994, when we came here for the first time, where I would have ranked this one number 1. But looking at the history of our sport and prestige and all the ingredients that go into what makes the most prestigious race, you have to rank Daytona up there first. But for somebody that always dreamed about coming to Indianapolis as a kid and race all around here, this one ranks very high to me. So it's definitely one of the biggest. I think it's just the history of this racetrack. Everybody wants to win. I think it's about the trophy. It's who's won there, how hard is it to win there, and just the history of the racetrack and the race itself. I can't believe you said it's 20 years. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since we won here in 1994. That certainly says a lot about how fast things can go by. But it's to me, that inaugural race, really set the precedent for how impressive this facility is and how prestigious this race was the first year and always will be.
Go over here to Alan, right here.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. Given the points position you're in right now, as a driver, how hard is it to dial back when you have to be thinking of points instead of necessarily always, going for the win or taking risks? How hard is that to dial back when you're in the heat of the moment like that?
That's the beauty of where I'm at in points. I don't have to dial back anything. We are in full-on aggressive mode. It's for us. Do we have to win? No. Do we have to put 7 really good races together? Yes. And in order to put good races together, I'm talking top 5s, because you look at the guys that we're racing against and they can easily do that. We've got to push, not pull back. So, I don't think, I don't know of a time when I've ever really just went into a race. Maybe if I go back to 1997, championship, where we were really the whole time thinking about points. But every time I've ever thought about points, it cost us more positions than it gained us. So we just go out there and race. Race as hard as we can. Try to put the best plan together, race car together. I try to drive every restart and lap that I would if I was trying to win the race, or just trying to get the best position I can. So that's what we're going to do this weekend, and that's what we're going to do every weekend. I'd certainly like to separate myself and be a 5-time winner in our series, but I will never compare that to my biggest hero, Rick Mears or AJ Foyt and those guys. And I guess it's just because my experience coming here as a kid, actually seeing the Indy 500, it's just a different race, and I think it should always be held to a different standard as any other race. It's not just NASCAR, but MotoGP or Formula One or anything.
Let's go to here, David Newton. We'll go to the gentleman here, green, young lady, and then Dan.
David Newton, ESPN.com. And he's speaking of purists, talking about where this race ranks, among others. Richard Childress said earlier this week he would rank Daytona, Coca-Cola, and Brickyard as the top 3 races to win. I'm just wondering where you would rank this race, or do you continue? A lot of us put
Did you just come in, David?
I did.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, David.
You want me to give you the transcript?
Yeah, David.
I'm sorry, Mark Spiegel we had to play basketball.
No, I didn't speak of the 600, and it's, to me, it's a close second to the Brickyard. But I think if you grew up with NASCAR racing, then the 600 might have a little more, or Southern 500 might have a little more prestige. When you grew up watching IndyCar racing like I did, and racing sprint cars and midgets, the Brickyard 400 kind of leapfrogs those other guys.
Let me ask something else, since Marty's already had this.
Since you have the microphone, go ahead.
What some people have speculated, I guess writers in general, maybe they should move this race to the chase to kind of add a little more, start of the chase, to add a little more pizzazz to it, to give it some more excitement. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's throw Eldora in there while we're at it. I think that there's, always, should we have a road course in the chase? Should the Brickyard be in the chase? Should Bristol be in the chase? There's so many tracks that deserve to be in it that I would like to see in it. I'll say what I've always said. I think at the beginning of the year there should be like a lottery, or some type of event that picks the 10 races that are in the chase. And I don't think it should necessarily, maybe there's some that are always the same. Maybe it always ends in Homestead. I don't know. But I'd like to see that change all the time, so that we don't have the exact same 10 in every single year.
Gentleman right here, green, young lady, Dan Gelston, young man right here.
Matt Weaver, PopularSpeed.com. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
First time. This race has always been kind of a tell of the entire season as a whole, and really a microcosm of your career as well. The first decade, this was your race. Now it's become Jimmy Johnson's race. How important is it to you now to beat Jimmy at what has kind of become his own game, your game here at Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think, this race, and I spoke to the challenge, this is a tough racetrack. It's also a track that everybody brings out their best, whether it be their pit crew, whether it be their driver, the race car, or the whole combination. They bring their best because this is such a prestigious race. And I think that's why you see either champions or potential champion contenders compete so well at this race and win this race, because those are the teams that are able to step up when it matters most and not only win this race but go on to be a champion. And who has done that better in the last 10 years than, the 48 team? So I think that they're going to be very tough this weekend. This race means a lot to them, like it does so many others, and they're certainly in championship form. And I would have to put them at the top of the list of the teams to beat. So for the rest of us, we're all going to try to put that aside and go run our race and see if we can, finish ahead of the 48. And if you do that, you're probably going to win this race, and you're going to be pretty proud of that accomplishment. And I hope that there were teams that felt that way when we were winning all the races and coming here. And I think that was a little bit of the case. I think they might be taking it to a whole nother level, actually.
Go ahead, sir.
Sam King, Lafayette Journal and Courier. Jeff, you talked about just your love for the Indianapolis 500, and based on where you spent your teenage years, that's, it's a given. The path your racing career took, it looked like you may never get a chance to run here. So what were your initial feelings when, the tire tests were going on here, and then the first race when you and Ernie Irvin battled it out, and now looking back, this is going to be the 20th time you've got a chance to race this track?
Yeah. I mean, so many great memories of all that was going on. A little bit of history real quick, if I can. When you're racing locally nearby here, it doesn't matter, what your name is, what type of race car you're driving. Your goal is to come race here in May. And everybody that I raced with every weekend, they would talk about, I got a chance at a ride with this team or that team, or Rich Vogler was going to qualify for the 500 with Jonathan Bird, or whatever it was. It was always the buzz and the talk about it. It's like your goal on that weekend was to make a name for yourself, to win enough races to get the opportunity to go race the Indianapolis 500. And of course, it also was pretty eye-opening to realize that none of those guys ever were very successful here. So, for me, when I started pursuing that a little bit more, started getting more success, I started realizing very early and quickly that the chances of me doing it were slim, and the chances of me being with a top team were very slim. So it was pretty easy for me to look other places and go down south after some people, kind of encouraged me to do that, and immediately started getting opportunities as well as good opportunities. And, that's what changed it all for me. So I did sort of move away from those dreams and thoughts, in those late 80s or early 90s because of how all that went down. And when I saw that they were going to test here, I was excited because I was like, that's so cool, but I was also disappointed I wasn't there. I would have loved to have been here. And it looked like they had so much fun that day, the way they were swapping positions. And it was an exhibition, but it would look like a fun exhibition that, I wanted to be a part of. And I was just thrilled to be a part of it in 94 when it actually happened, and dream come true to win that race.
Let's go to Dan, then we'll go to the young lady right here. Can we get the mic here to Dan?
Dan Galston, the Associated Press. Jeff, do you feel this track needs lights? Would be boosted by lights in any way?
It doesn't need lights.
Would you want lights? Would you like to race here?
I think it'd be awesome to race here at night. And again, this goes back to the history, about the Indy 500 and the history of the racing here. And yes, there's tradition with the Brickyard 400, but it's not the tradition of the Indy 500. I would never want to see the Indy 500 run under lights. But the Brickyard 400 breaks traditions. It always has, by being the first, stock car race to ever happen here. Or, I don't know, somebody could tell me more about the history of I always heard that was the only other race that ever existed here, but I think they had a bicycle race or something here one time. But so why not change it up? Why not? I mean, we've had this race have some different scenarios with it in the days that it's run here. So why not? Let's have it a night race. I think that'd be awesome.
We're going to take 3 more questions. We're going to take the young lady right here. We're going to take the gentleman right here and end with Jeff Gluck. Go ahead.
He kind of already asked my question, but how do you think that it would do from like maybe a fan standpoint?
Well, a Saturday night, I think, would be key. And I think from what I've seen at other night races that we go to, the fans seem to really enjoy it. Sometimes Sundays get a little bit tricky, with travel and traveling home and all those things. But it seems like when it's a Saturday night, it seems to be exciting for the fans as well as for the competitors. So I've not seen a night race not be a win-win for everybody.
Gentleman right here, and then we'll end with Jeff Gluck. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dick Bittman, 500 Old Timers. Jeff, what is the difference between a 23-year-old driver when you won and a 42 or whatever you are now?
19 years.
Soon. I'll be 42 soon. Give me one more week.
How do you change? You've got 2 children now. What is the difference in your perspective as a race driver?
Just naive and inexperienced and probably just not understanding and appreciating the full scope of what's going on, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I think sometimes you only get that over time. And then over time, maybe you overthink it a little bit. But I mean, for me today, the thing that I'm most proud of, that I enjoy, that motivates me more than anything, is being able to have those experiences of winning, especially a race like this, with my family, being there. My wife and my 2 children, we went, to Victory Lane at Homestead last year, and it was one of my favorite victories that I've ever had. And it was cool to win at Homestead, but having them there, and as they get older, that only gets greater. I didn't have that when I was younger. But I just kind of didn't think about it. Just went into it and just did, whatever it is I was supposed to do and moved on from it very quickly. Didn't even, I just didn't probably enjoy it as much as I do today. Today, I savor the moment. I appreciate it more than I ever have, and I just try to soak it up, take it all in, and make it last as long as I possibly can, and then to share it with them is the ultimate. Thank you.
Final question, Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I think you were joking about Eldora, but I couldn't tell. Would you really like to see a cup race at Eldora?
I would love to see a cup race at Eldora. Yes, I think that would be awesome. You know what? I'd love to see a cup race at Eldora. I don't know. You don't know until you get out there and try. I mean, those guys look like they're having a lot of fun. I think I'd rather have Kyle Larson drive my car because I thought he was awesome. He was unbelievable. But I love Eldora. I love the dirt, and I enjoyed racing the dirt late model there. So I would love to see what a cup car could do. I think Tony did a great job preparing. At first, I was a little disappointed the track was so hard and slick, but then when you see the race, you understand, that it actually makes for a much better race, and that it's necessary, and I think they had windshields in too, so that might have been a little tricky with mud. But I thought it was way cool. Everywhere I've gone this week, I've had people that are huge NASCAR fans and people that aren't big NASCAR fans at all that watched it and thought that they were blown away. They did not expect it to go the way that it did, and I thought why not have more races, on a dirt track. I don't think you'll ever see a cup race there, at least not while I'm driving, but I'd vote for it. I think it'd be very cool to do.